Welcome everyone to the next series of From Darkness to Light, the next edition. I'm here with someone from Israel who's got very English roots, but nevertheless from Israel. Libbie Goldstein, thank you very much for joining us. Do you want to start by telling us your background and then talk about the challenge that you faced, and then we'll get on to the coping mechanisms and what helped and what didn't help?
Sure. So 10 years ago, I was expecting my second child, my second daughter, and I started feeling very unwell during the pregnancy. We went from doctor to doctor, and no one really knew what was wrong with me. And eventually, I was diagnosed with cancer, with Hodgkin's lymphoma, and I went through chemo from the next day after I was diagnosed. So I was receiving chemo during pregnancy for 3 months. And my doctors assured me that I will be okay and my growing baby will be okay. And for 3 months, I received chemo, which was quite a challenge during pregnancy. And then I delivered, Baruch Hashem, a healthy baby. And a week after birth, continued very, very strong chemo. And when we thought that was all done, and I had a 6-week remission, the cancer decided to come back. And at that point, I had to go through a bone marrow transplant and radiation, and all that with having a baby at home and a toddler of 2 years old. And after another 10 months of remission, my cancer came back again, and I battled cancer for another year. So all that together took 3 years. Baruch Hashem, I'm here today, and I'm fine and I'm healthy. So that was my challenge. Wow. That I went through, in short.
Gosh, wow! So that's three years in and out of hospital.
Yes.
With young children, and presumably relatively newly married as well.
So we weren't so newly married. We went through another challenge before I was sick. We waited for about 5.5 years till my first was born, which was another challenge, seeing all our friends around having already children. My sister, who was 3 years younger than me, already had 2 of her own. It was quite challenging, but Baruch Hashem, after 5.5 years, we were blessed with a baby, and a year later with another one. And so, it's just part of life, challenges. And
wow, that's wow, a lot to go through. I guess let's just fast forward in terms of the story, and then let's go back to the coping elements, because now I can't say the story's behind you, but nevertheless you've definitely channeled it, regarding what you do at the moment. So just want to explain for those who are watching, what do you do at the moment? What did that propel you to do? I think that will be quite inspiring.
Okay, so before I was diagnosed with cancer, I was a nurse. I'd been working for about 5 years, 5.5 years or so. And then when I suddenly became the patient, I managed to see how doctors and nurses look from the other side of the bed, like we say in Hebrew. From the side of I was a patient. I was able to see how they are treating us, how they're speaking, and I saw also family-wise and friend-wise. Suddenly, I saw how everyone around was coping with such a big challenge, and I realized from the first minute when I was told the words "you have cancer," I was actually alone in hospital. I did not know I was going to receive such bad news. And I called my husband up on the phone, and I told him, very short, I said to him, look, this is what I've been told now, that I have cancer. And I said, I have 2 requests. First of all, I want to tell you that we're going to be here one for another, like we've been before. We've been through challenges before, and we're going to be here one for another. You're going to be my rock, I'm going to be your rock, and we're going to get through this together. And the second thing is that I do not want to keep any secrets. I need everyone's tefillot. I need everyone to be there for me, on my side, supporting me. And I don't want to waste energy on keeping secrets. So those were actually my first requests. I said to my husband, let's share this information and let's not keep secrets. And I think that was one of the biggest things which really helped us throughout the way. I don't say like not everyone has to publish everything that's going on in their life on social media, but just to share with the people around them, the people who really care, the people who want to help, and people who could pray for you. And that is the biggest help at times of need. I think also one of the best things that I did when I was going through the remission and then the cancer come back and remission again and all that, it was very confusing and very difficult. I sought professional help, which was a big thing, because every Wednesday I knew I was going to my psychologist and I would just sit and speak with him and let everything out, which meant that I wasn't letting out my frustration on my close ones, on my people who I love so much. And I was able to let out with someone who actually could help me with all my confusion and anger and whatever it was I was going through. And I think also very important, one of the things which I did before I went into the long isolation, which I had to have during the bone marrow transplant, I went with the 3 people who were going to be my close support system, my mother, my husband, and my sister. I went with them to the psychologist, and we just discussed how we would like this time to look like. That means, what are my wishes? So I told them, I wish that you 3 should be around the kids. I should know that they are safe, that they are at home, that they're being taken care of, and then I'm happy. And we managed to, map out the support that I needed throughout that time, which was a big thing. So stating your needs, what you need, what you really wish for. For me, it was my kids, just to know that they are okay, and to know who my support is going to be in the time of need.
Right. Wow. It sounds like a lot, but well mapped out, as you said. I guess, were there any other coping mechanisms, anything else that got you through, either anything that you personally felt, your approach, or things that others did?
So I think one of the things which I kept on telling myself was, don't compare yourself to others. When I was going through something difficult, I knew that I know best inside my heart how it's good for me to cope with things. And looking at someone else coping doesn't really help me, because sometimes it just put me down. So basically, I always tell people, don't compare yourselves to others. I always say that to family members. Don't compare the person who is now dealing with something difficult. Don't compare them to someone else, because it's not really helpful. If it helps you to hear a story that can give you koach and can give you support, that's fine, but not to compare. One of the best coping mechanisms which I found was to keep myself feeling useful. As a mother, I was all the time useful. I had to get up in the morning. I had to take care of my kids. They saved me. They kept me on my feet. That was one of the best things. But I always say to people, if it's someone who is elderly or someone who doesn't have children, try to make them feel useful. So if they are right now going through a disease or something that makes them sit at home, still try and come and maybe ask them for advice. I remember that my friends would call me up and ask me for advice about babies, because that was my field. I worked in the nursery and the maternity ward in Hadassah. So they would call me up, and I still felt like I am still Libbie the nurse. I have not lost my status, even though I've been sick and I've been away from the hospital for so long. So that was very, very good for me. And I tell people, always speak about your emotions. If it's the sick people or people who are going through something tough, speak your emotions out. And also the people around them, tell the person who is going through something difficult, tell them what you feel about them. First of all, it will help them. It will inspire them. It will, make them feel that they are special. And second of all, always say things. It's important to say it before the person, chas v'chalila, is not here with us anymore. before it's too late. Always important to stay when you have the opportunity.
Right.
And keep positive. Try and keep positive in every way possible.
Right. Amazing. I mean, very profound messages, and very real from your experiences. I guess we just one last thing, which is, now the story is thank God behind you to a certain extent. Please God, only good health. I guess just worth telling people what happened afterwards. I know there was the writing, there's the hair project. It's good just for people to know ending with a very, very positive note. What was the other side of the story?
Okay, so I always tell, going through the cancer and the recovery were really tough, but after that, I managed to take out of all those very, very difficult things, good things. Good things did happen out of it. So I was very lucky to have found within myself. I did not know that I had those talents, but I started writing. Throughout the rehab, it started writing little stories and things which just all these memories that popped up, but I framed them in a very, very positive way, because now, I was seeing the light. I was at the end of the tunnel, and I was able to look back, but look at the future at the same time. So that was how the writing started, and I was asked to write an article for all sorts of things and to tell about my story. And then it was on the radio. I was asked to sit on a panel for, I think it was 4 seasons, and speak about issues of like mothers going through challenges, and that was also really interesting. The hair project was amazing. It was we did in my daughter's school. We decided to try and see how many girls would get together and donate their hair for cancer patients, which was first of all a big mitzvah to help cancer patients and try and get as much hair donations from girls who could give. But the second thing was also just raising awareness from a very young age, saying that, yes, cancer is a disease, but cancer does not mean death. Many times when people hear the word cancer, they think immediately about, very sick people losing their hair and dying. And that was the end of that. And it's not true. Many more people recover than the people who die. Mm-hmm. I don't know to tell you statistics, but that is the truth. And I just see it's very important for me to speak about cancer in a positive light. So I speak about it through the hair donations. So that was, the hair project was a big success. We had 120 girls who donated their hair all in one evening. It was in my daughter's school, which meant that also some of the teachers donated their hair and secretaries, and it was just it was fun, and everyone was on such a high for months. So I think the most exciting thing and the best thing that has happened out of all this is that 15 months ago, Baruch Hashem blessed my family with twins, a boy and a girl, who were born. They made their grand entrance on Rosh Hashanah morning.
Wow.
I had to drag my husband out to shul and say, they are coming now. We have to go to hospital. So that was really if I would have to write a book about my life, I think that would be, the most exciting point, that I really would have never imagined it when I was lying in bed sick, going through all what I went through. But Hashem, it was a big, wonderful surprise that Hashem planned for us.
Amazing. Look, thanks so much for your time. Really appreciate it. I'm sure that the listeners, the watchers, we should say, are going to be very inspired. Look, you should continue to have lots of good health and do amazing things. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you.